Good morning, everyone. Let's begin our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke together with Reverend Yutaka Yamada on this day, Wednesday, the 7th of April, or the 26th of February in the 9th year of Chongalkuk. So let's begin by offering a bow to our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Chariot, Kumbe. And let's recite together the family pledge, both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가족맨세 7. 전의국 주인 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심전 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 7. Our family, the owner of Chongalkuk, pledges through living for the sake of others to perfect the world based on the culture of heart, which is rooted in the original lineage by centering on true love. And I'd like to ask Tsuneko Bab if she could offer the opening prayer. Thank you.
Dearest every parent of humankind, thank you very much, Des, to protect us and all the things to be grateful to everyday life, to alive and to with you and your protection. But we sorry to not enough to do that. That's our responsibility yet. And to everyday life, we, through the things life, to realization of your love, to utilize our daily life, then we somehow more close to your heart and more inclusive of all the people who do not know you yet, but maybe they looking for it to back to your love, but still not yet, reach yet. Therefore, we really need to humble ourselves to how to relate those who not know you, but still they suffering in all over the world, people suffering to get to know you. Father, Mother, please guide us to our life to still keep going, even though sometimes so darkness, but we truly hang on to your principle, your love, and to cultivate your love to on each one of us. Father, Mother, thank you very much. Be with us today to Hundoke condition to somehow lift up all the people who members or outside members or whoever to reach your heart. And I report to James and Seneca of Blessings family. Adieu.
Adieu. Okay, thank you, everyone. And let's give a good welcome to Reverend Yutaka as she shares with us this morning's Hundok. Thank you.
Good morning, our brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining this morning Fundoke. This moment is really grateful to see each other and offer our chanson to our parents. Even we cannot meet physically, but really the technology's development is great. Even we beyond the nation and beyond the nationality, already we can stay in one place and communicate. That's why every day we are meeting. So if we meet physically, our heart is coming more and really close more. So I think this great moment to spend time together. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate also our parents and true parents. Thank you very much. So yesterday we had our ACLC, Asian Pacific Clergy Leadership Conference through webinar. So Christian minister gathered together to share the message, and we had a new start in Asian Pacific level, and really appreciate our Reverend Stone for your investment in order to make really the peace world under our Heavenly Parents. Each religious leader was prepared and guided already by heaven. And among each religious leader, especially our Christian minister or Christian leader, were the person who inherited and prepared by the foundation of our Jesus sacrifice. And also even Father said, really appreciate to the Christian group because they are the one who took care by our heavenly parents for 2000 years time period. That's why Christians investment sacrifice is the really precious and really important things as the filial son and filial daughters. That's why now or the second coming, when true parents came here, who they have been waited for a long time. That's why how we can guide them to let them understand, let them know, and we are the one, they are the one who should create the peaceful world and Choniguk together with our heavenly parents and true parents. So let's really create together for all our Christian clergy, of course, our religious leaders, ambassador for peace, and we will work together. Yesterday we share about true fathers and true mothers' individual life toward welcoming the holy wedding ceremony, and we review our true parents' life, father's life, and mother's life, and background of the history. So now, true parents would be starting the new history as the couple, not individual, and we could see our true mother's heart and also around those situations. So let's share today also. A small boat on heavy seas. In these side streets and workplaces of South Korea, people were whispering out of worry, anxious over the fate of their nation. Don't it feel like something is about to happen? One would say, to which his friend would respond, I feel the same way. We live in troubled time. If only there was someone who could set this world right. At that time, this nation of Korea was still very poor, and many of them are under suffering and the difficult situation. Even the political situation was not stable, and many people have awareness. So during that difficult time, they are always thinking, what is our future? What's gonna happen for our nation? What's gonna happen our world? This is their thinking. So maybe if some of you experience in Korean situation, maybe you could understand. If people are facing challenging or difficult situation, that's why they will seek the hope and also the future. So they are talking, if only there was someone who could set this world right. I was sure worries would soon dissipate. The year of our holy wedding ceremony, 1960, was a turning point. For great changes were taking place both at home and abroad. In South Korea, the people's longing for democracy burst forth, and they ousted the authoritarian Liberal Party. Overseas, John F. Kennedy was elected President of the United States, and we felt the way opening toward a new era. Trimada, even those difficult situations, but Trimada had the hope. Surely from this year, nation of Korea and world will be changed. So Trimada could have the strong confidence and also the hope. But history is never that simple. The rifts of the Cold War grew deeper and conflict worsened between the communist realm and the free world. A flame of popular outcry for democracy flared up in the Soviet bloc nations of Eastern Europe, but the state crushed its advocates and the fire grew dim again. It seemed that the time for peace was not yet at hand. People continued praying for a true leader to appear. So all conflict and the struggling was happening all over the world at the time under Cold War, and the world was divided into two groups between communist realm and also the free world. How to create the world to be peace. This is the thinking. And those situations was not happening not only in Korea, and also each nation is same. 1950, 1960. I don't know, maybe some of you had an experience during 1950 or 1960. How about, do you have some experience? Maybe some are born already, right? 1950, 1960. Maybe even shortly, can you share your national situation at the time, just shortly? 1950, 1960. Okay, Mr. Douglas.
It's really true. And you could say that the whole world was looking for political leadership as heroes. It's different today. We don't have that same viewpoint, but then political heroes were almost such people striving for it, you know, and the world was being deeply polarized. And I remember as a young boy, I was only like 9 years of age. The interstate highway was being built in the United States. I lived in New York on Long Island. John F. Kennedy had just been elected. My father voted for him. My mother voted for Nixon. So there was a divide. But they took me to see the arrival of Khrushchev, you know, on Idlewild Airport, now called Kennedy Airport in New York City. So I was just a young boy, less than 10, I think. It was maybe 11, I'm not sure. But it was right at the beginning of the Kennedy administration. And a lot of people really, with not such a happy heart, wanted to greet Khrushchev and see him coming into the United Nations. And I had a little toy 45 pistol. After World War II, every child in America had guns and holsters, cowboy hats, and little plastic guns, plastic toy soldiers. So when Khrushchev's car came by on the Long Island Expressway, I aimed my little plastic gun, you know, because that was the fervent anti-communist feeling of America at that time, you know. And then I was jumped upon by adults thinking that the CIA would kill me. So it was a very intense time. Khrushchev went on to go speak at the United Nations, where he took his shoe off and hit the podium and said, "We will bury you." Boom, you know. So it was a very dramatic time. Yeah.
Oh, very.
Thank you very much. You are 9 years younger boy, but already you are thinking for nation and world. So anyway, that time is not only Korea, already world level, there are many kind of conflict after World War II, and also inside of a nation, politically or economically, many people also suffering life and finding the hope. Those kind of background was happened 1960, around that time. So we could see, we can connect what's happened those time. Great changes also were taking place for the Unification Church. Virtually the whole of Korea had stood in opposition to our church, with Christianity issuing the most scathing criticism. But now, on the foundation of embracing a young women leader, the true mother, we began ecumenical dialogues and transitioned from Christian denomination to global religious movement. Our members pray that we could be a beacon shining forth a new hope of salvation, in particular women who so long have been oppressed, perceived that the true women's movement was being set in motion. So inside of our church, the big changes was happened, because before that, true father who are called as a teacher. So true father was leading the whole providence, the whole movement at that moment. But after holy wedding ceremony, true mother stood as the younger mother, as a true mother. And from that time, not only true father, they stood as the true parents. So movement totally changed as the next dimension. And from that moment, the gate was open for the world religion or global movement. And even the women's movement has happened. So all members had a hope, and they put the heart. We want to change. We will change the nation, and we will change the world. So true father also mentioned about those movement. Father said, the start of the women movement in the United States was not that long ago. In the 1960s, the women's movement spread worldwide. Women had to solve the problems that men cannot solve. No matter how many people there are on this earth, they are all fallen descendants born of an evil blood lineage. Therefore, a true woman who can fulfill her motherly mission must appear. The closer we get to the last day, the more we need such a representative. So even also father mentioning those kind of the women's movement. Even in USA, not long ago, that movement was started around 1950, 1960. So true mother also stood up as the mother as the true mother, and also those movement was going on. So internally, externally is really connected to work together. How to liberate also women who are oppressed for a long time. 3 days after the holy wedding ceremony, my husband and I visited Chuan Farm in Incheon, not far from the border with North Korea, with several members. We planted grapevines and ginkgo and jelkova trees. As I planted a young sapling, I offered a prayer. May you grow well and become a big, strong tree that will bear the fruit of hope for the people of the world. I was not praying only for that particular tree, but for success in the mission given to my husband and me. As a tree provides people with fruit as well as shade, so should we and all people of faith. So Trimada was planting a young sapling and also pray, not only for tree itself, but pray for the hope of the world, the hope for the people of the world. So Trimada put the heart together with prayer even when she was planting the tree. Do you know Father also 50 years, every time some kind of prayer, he offered a prayer for the 7 nations. Father always pray before eating. 연미불 일독이 한국. You know 연미불 일독이 한국. 연미불 meaning is England, America, Italy. 연미불 England, America, France. 일독이 is Japan, German, and Italy, and Korea. So those main country, Able Nation and Satan's Able Nation and Cain Nation, during the World War II, the Father also prayed for more than 50 years every meal time, he pray for those nations, 7 nations. So also true parents always put the prayer, even whatever he do, whatever true mother do, true father do, put the prayer together. How to make a peace in the world. From the outset, high waves and strong winds battered the small boat of our newly married life. Fortunately, I was prepared for that. It is said that newlyweds know nothing but happiness. But that was not our main purpose. My husband and I were not in a position to focus very much on our personal contentment. So true parents, even marriage life was not simple life. Like high waves and strong winds battered the small boat of our new married life. That kind of environment came to our true parents' marriage life at that moment. During true mother was living in the Chompadon church in that place, there are many kind of situation was happened. True mother mentioned next chapter. True mother mentioned little bit what kind of things was happened, but there are so many things happen. And when we see the true father's message, true father explained how much mother was suffering and sacrifice. So one story, true father also mentioned that during true mother's time period to living in the small church for 7 years course from 1960 to 1967, even more than 120 women is competed and really attack some kind of jealous or many kind of feeling. So father said, if just let them go, this is more serious things to more than giving the poison. Those kind of jealousy, those kind of hatred from the women's. True mother could overcome, and true father should have protected true mother. That's why in the beginning of the time, true father also made the special arrangement to true mother even could not have a time for often. So true mother had to spend or patient those difficulty, but mother accepted all the environment and prepare and pray for the members. So some people also came to the mother's room and they said, this position is not you. This is my position. I am the bride of true father. So many women also come and attack and accuse the true mother. So during 7 years time period, true mother doesn't mention so much about the suffering moment and those kind of experience, because also mother is telling us, anyway, those moment or situation was under the restoration time period and also the special time period, but now era of Choniguk. That's why we have to see the future. So she digest and overcome everything. That's why she tried to share the really great moment for our next generation. So she doesn't mention so much about past suffering moment, indemnity. Maybe you have many kind of the background situation, many kind of difficult, many kind of challenging situation during true parents in the beginning of their life, beginning of their family life, and the true children, and also true mother and true father. But those things are under the indemnity era and the restoration course. That's why when we listen our true mother's message, true mother doesn't mention so much about those a period of time, because now or the era of Choniguk, we want to see the future and we want to remain the great things for the future descendants. So through true mother's autobiography, we could see how true mother was explaining and sharing us, but we could see how her heart, not so much some really challenging time or really the suffering moment. So anyway, we could find, and we should search the mother's heart behind of those sharing and those message. Our first living space was a small, sparsely decorated room at the back of Chompadon Church. On one side, it connected to a chapel, and on the other, to the tiniest of courtyards. Our kitchen was small and old-fashioned, with a rough cement floor. I cooked for my husband in that kitchen, which was always smoke-filled from coal briquette. From the first day I prepared his meal, I was quite at home in that kitchen, which was similar to many my little family had occupied. I was quite deft with the cutting knife, even though my hands were cold. When people saw me preparing the various dishes without much trouble, they were surprised. Until a few weeks prior, they had thought of me as only a teenage nursing student. So Trumada, at that time, she was just 17 years old, and already she started to cook for the husband, cook the meal for the husband. So maybe many old lady, old member, auntie, uncle, everyone was observing. Can you imagine 700 or many member was admire, respected Trufada, and suddenly Trumada was appeared as the Trumada, as the bride of Trufada, and they started to have a life together, and Trumada started to cook the meal for Trufada. That's why how about Trumada's pleasure, not only from Trufada, not only several people, all member was observing who she is, how she will do, and she have to accept it everything as the Trumada, and she show her life that time. So we could see Trumada's beginning of her life of as the bride and also the wife. The church was always crowded with members, and my husband and I seldom spent time by ourselves. In such a public setting, Father Moon and I would sit across from each other and talk about our plans for the world. Members would show concern and say to us, "Please, you really should eat now." We would look at the clock and often see it was 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and we hadn't given a thought to lunch. I focused on the many tasks that would be entrusted to me in the future. I realized that not only Korea, but also the rest of the world was expecting me to extend my helping hand. So if you have an experience to visit the headquarter church, the old headquarter church, that building actually not so much big. If so many people are there, there is not so much the private area, private room. And when we visit there, we could see this room was the Trumada's room. This room was True Children's room. This room was the cutting area for Trufada. And this room was a prayer place. This place was True parents' room, or several places you could see cooking place. So that place was really not big. That's why if all member was also living there, staying there and coming every night, every time, Trufada and Trumada could not have the time for the personal, for Trufada and Trumada. But when they meet each other, when they talk each other, they are talking for future providence. They are talking about hope and the vision, and also our God and our Heavenly Parents' heart. That's why each moment they are continuously talking. When we stay together with True Parents, always True Parents organize about Fundoke and always True Parents leading the Providence, we could not see so much they are talking each other because True Father always talking with members and sharing members and the time with members. But really, how much important moment and precious moment during True Father and True Mother stayed together. So when they could have a time, they share many kind of heart and many kind of vision and many kind of thinking for the future. So really, if we see from only our point of view, we could not see our True Father and True Mother's feeling each moment, especially True Mother was sharing. She didn't share so much about her life, but through the True Mother's autobiography, we could understand how True Mother was spending the time with True Father, True children, and also behind of our movement. So today we could see our True Mother's heart after starting of the wedding life and the new life as the True Mother. So in the world level, there are many kind of conflict inside of Korea. In the world, they are looking for, people are looking for the hope. They are looking for the changing, and they are looking for the new way. And even small changes was happening from the Chompadon, and True Mother had a great hope. Now is the time to be changed everything, centering on True Parents, centering on Heavenly Parents. So we could see True Mother's life course, True Parents' life course. So from 1960 to 1967, this 7-year course, this time period was most difficult time and challenging moment for True Mother and also True Father. True Father said, one time True Father said, he is really treated True Mother as the princess, kind of the jewelry, really treat and protect and also guide. That's why when he prepared the whole foundation for True Mother, sometimes separated, sometimes also put aside, but all moment was actually in order to protect True Mother and wish True Mother to grow up and fulfill the 7 years course at that moment. And True Mother was also sharing those behind of feeling. So really when we see the history, True Parents is standing in front of us, but those situation was not just automatically happened. Each moment is really the marathon, creating time period. That's why through understanding, through feeling and inheriting, really we could stand as a filial son and filial daughters, and we could stand how we can offer the happiness to our Heavenly Parents, True Parents, as filial son and filial daughters. So today also we appreciate all of you to join together our Fundoke. Through those moments, we seek our Heavenly Parents' heart and True Parents' heart. Let's create new great moment and new happiness to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Reverend Yutaka. Thank you for your guidance every morning. Yeah, welcome everyone. And I was just, as Father Reverend Yutaka was talking, I was reflecting on visiting Chompadong Church for the first time in Korea, and seeing where Father and Mother stayed, and the room where the members prayed, and yes, I was, actually taken aback by how small the rooms were. Everything was small, and thinking that it was completely full of members, and everyone was just so tightly packed in, and mother sitting on the floor and father, that picture that was in one of the slides, your mother sitting on the floor next to father on the chair and all the members. And when I went to the church and we prayed in the main room, I just felt the like the grace of heaven, like how precious this time was, and how full of hope and real expectation that the world was going to change because our true parents were here, and all the members were just so excited to be with father, to be taught about our heavenly parents' heart, and how they didn't have much time privately for themselves because they were always with the members. And as I was praying that first time I was there, I mean, I was so happy and grateful that this was the time, but also sorry that our true parents couldn't have more personal time. But I am sure their heart was always to put God first. So that just encouraged me to reassess my priorities, to always put our heavenly parent first. So thank you, everyone, and let's open it up to who would like to share with us this morning. Yes, Mr. Arai, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you. I think great job, Greg, yesterday. Thanks. Early 1960, 1967, 7-year course. I think we don't know so much, and one of three couple, John Tafer, wife of former President Kim, wife, and she, after expelled from IFA University, the father asked go to other university. They went there, then graduate. Then she started home affair. Then that time, father started to say, I'm going to oversee. Then she a little bit lamented, why I don't learn English or the international course. Then she wanted to offer then working headquarters for kitchens, making a meal for father. So before a holy wedding, John Tafer, she was cooking for true father's meal. Then true father is quite, she's very fussy, and but she father like beef and pork. Doesn't like smelly fish, but like very like karai, bitter, chili fish. Like then then after mother came, and so first meal, she said after a holy marriage, John Tafer was proud. First meal for two parents, they made it. Then we read, Revan Yutaka, we read today, and two mothers said, I made a first meal for husband, and also made various meals. Then according to John Tafer's testimony, father said I was very cruel to mother because Korean tradition after marriage, after 3 days, they started to cook for the husband family. That is the Korean tradition. Then father asked to mother after marriage, it's a holy wedding, asked to cooking for father. Then John Tafer was the kitchen. The mother came to the kitchen. Then she thought, or maybe she was a little bit nervous or not unfamiliar with the new kitchen. But mother was very natural and quite smooth to kitchen, making various, it's a different kind of meal. Then mother made duck toritan. I think duck toritan. It's a chicken. It's a meal, and also korokke from potatoes. And really, John Tafer was surprised. And so after mother came to kitchen and helping her, then John Tafer was very, before it was very difficult. It's always thinking what kind of meal to make, but she can get all of information, and so variety of meal was more expanded. So really, John Tafer was, thanks to mother. One of just a testimony from I think person who served meal to father. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Mask してくれない。
ちょっと so
Yes, Rex, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So it's now it's raining in here, heavy rain. So, but it's okay. It's just natural. So, I just want to share one of my experience after just listening to through mother's testimony, and I know once there's one of our brother from Japan who was working for Ocean Church. I forget his name. So once he visited Ocean, came to Australia, then he came to some things. I must remember, I forgot his name. So, but when he came, we staying at the center. Then one morning he shared his experience about with our true parents. Once a true parents visited Japan, then they had an event in one hotel. So from that hotel, his mind was just to get anything that he will keep as his memory while a true parents here on earth. So then after the event, true parents, they use the glass for drink water. Then after the event, he did his best to get that glass. So then he went to the hotel people, and he said, I want to buy. So he got that glass and keep in it. So when he came to someone, he said that experience, this glass is still now in my house, it's my memory. I don't know when our true parents will go to the spiritual world, so this will be my memory. So then he said that he was very, let's say, proud to keep our true parents' memory. So from there, I was just thinking, so I don't know, like me, when I will get that opportunity to get something from, I can keep as memory from our true parents. So it reminds me also at the time of Jesus, when Jesus was crucified, the history, the Bible said that the people that tear his clothes and then they share pieces. Then he said, imagine if somebody appeared to them, say, oh, this is the piece of the cloth that Jesus wore at the time. So how much it will be? So, and so I say, okay, I don't know what time. Then when our troop parents, they plan to visit also Solomon. One day I think in the meeting something, then Uncle John was there, Reverend Uncle Paul, and he said, Uncle Paul said, troop parents will be coming to the Solomon. I know one person will be very happy that his dream will be really realized to see troop parents to the Solomon. Then he said, Nelly. So anyway, that was everything. But back at my mind, I was just thinking of a brother experience. Okay, troop parents will come to the Solomon. I think that will be very good opportunity for me, for my family, to have something that we can keep. So troop parents came, went to the airport, went in the room. We greeted troop parents, offer bow, all the flower, all this. But back at my mind, I was just only thinking, how can I get any souvenir from our troop parents? So when we had an event at Mendana, I know Uncle John, the busy doing all these things. Everything was going, but my mind was just only thinking one thing. I want to get a troop parent glass. I keep it for memory. So then when everything finished, so everybody followed this, but I just go and grab the glass. I went and keep it. No one ever knew about that situation. Not even anyone dream about what will happen. But I know the Japanese sister, because of the experience, they're expecting something like that. But because they were also at the kitchen, they didn't have much time to think about. So I got that. After the event, I brought it to the house and I told Nelly, this glass, this is a true father drink water. So we keep this really as I am in unforgettable memory from a true parent. So, but one sister, Jenny Namo, I don't know, maybe she saw somewhere. After then she came and shared to everybody. I saw Uncle Rex got a glass from a true parent, but anyway, no one even thought about the heavy or this and that. So I just think then I said, okay, that's very good. So then the glass is now in our true parents alternate in our house. So I told my wife, I said, this, I don't know, one day if we all of us leave, we have to think who inherit this one. So it's so important. So I'm just thinking that a true mother and a true mother share all these experiences. So it reminds me and then to share this experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I had something to say, but my camera's not working. So I just wanted to say that very early on when I joined, I heard that Father really wanted to understand women. And so very early on in his life, and I'm not sure how old he was, but he went on a train and he went up and down the peninsula of Korea dressed as a woman, so he could experience how people treated women. Can you understand? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't know if anybody else heard that, but you know, I don't know, from my Western mind, I sort of often think that men don't understand what women are going through, but he really took the extraordinary sort of step to do that as a young, I suppose he was a teenager maybe, or in his early 20s, but before his public mission. But he really wanted to know how women felt. And so the things that he put mother through. I think he really knew, already knew how she was going to be feeling. So it's a good thing to know, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So Reverend Yutaka, someone, actually Janine asked a question just then about where the Ju-Un farm is and where True Parents planted the trees and why they were planted there. Do you know where that farm is?
I think if they have some kind of the project, maybe I will check again together with True Father's word. I think also I had Mrs. Jacinta's message now. True Father changed the clothes to women and to spend time. Also, I had that. Maybe I will check also the detail. So this 2 point, maybe I will check and also I will share later.
Okay. So we have time for one more person to share. Who would like to share?
And also one more thing.
Yeah.
Now we are discussing with Reverend John also, because sharing time is little bit, sometimes no persons share and not sometimes uncomfortable environment is not good. So we try to find some person who share at least 5 minutes, some your experience, your feeling or your liberation in your life of faith. Maybe we will approach you. Some not everyone, depends on your wishes. Then maybe, and one day or a few days before, then if this time period, it can become the sharing time period, one person 5 minutes, then I think this become also a good occasion. So we are still discussing what's the better way. And also among you, if you have good suggestion, please share your opinion, your suggestion to us. Then we will think how we can develop our also community. Then we could spend also good time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So that actually uses our time. Just let me get our share out the screen for our 7-minute unison prayer. So I'll just bring that up. Okay, so that's time. So let's pray together. Jew, Jew, Jew. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day as always, and see you next time.
Have a good day, Uncle John.
Okay.
Have a good day, Uncle John.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.